You're live.
Hi, how you doing? Me today, we're in the shop so that Drew and I can do social distancing, and we're not stuck in my little corner at home with my little cabinet. So today we're doing the chair caddy. Don't know whether we need to leave it to let people catch up. I was just trying to think of what we were going to tell you. You might have seen Shana's put up a advert to say about the 50% sale, or up to 50% sale next week. We've got ends of bolts and some stuff that we can auction off. So we're going to have a bit of a fun thing like we did last time with the fabrics. Hopefully there won't be quite so much lag, and everybody will be able to keep up with us. We've got let me think, do we have anything new in? We've had some new white on whites and spray times and linen textures that Sarah's put back up on the website. And all our Hochanda has gone out, so which is good because some of it wasn't due to go out until the 27th, so we're a week ahead, so everybody's hopefully will be delighted when they get their stuff. Right, chair caddy. This one is mine. As you can see, there's pockets in the front for you to put your pen or your long scissors. You can put your long scissors in there, and little pockets. That one's big enough for you to get a reel of thread in. I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I'm sewing, sat at on the settee, I'm forever dabbing down my scissors or my cotton reel, and I can't find them. So I thought I'd make one of these. Now there's also a little bag to fill with rice. Mine's got lentils in because we don't very often eat lentils, and I had some of those and there wasn't a lot of rice. And I've done it so that there's a pocket on the back. Now this bag can either sit in there, which will give you the ballast so that when you're putting heavy things on one side, that gives you the ballast to stop it falling off. But you could just as easy, see, gives you good ballast, just as easy put it on the top and stick your pins in it. So there's your mobile pin cushion. I've put a button and a elastic on there because I found that the pocket just gaped with it in, so that will tidy it away quite nicely. Okay, now you can make these out of scraps. I cut up some fat quarters just to find you something. I've used our Viking fabric, which you know I love. I keep banging on about it. And this is what's left out of the fat quarters. So you've got probably enough to make another one there. So you could make two out of the fat quarters that you use, or you can use scraps because the pieces aren't that big. Okay, so it's working out which ones are my pieces and which ones are my scraps. See, there's quite a lot of scraps left over out of your fat quarters. Okay, so on the pattern you have your cutting instructions there. Why have I got that? Okay, so you've got your cutting instructions, and there's full instructions in with the my brain is going 3,000 times to the minute and I'm thinking of all sorts of things. Right, so the instructions will be on the website once I've sent it to Sarah. So I've cut out all my pieces and I've sewn some of them now. So you've got your pieces. Okay, so we're going to start with your background, and you want to cut it 11 by 20 because you're going to quilt into it. Now I've just done straight line quilting. I haven't left a certain amount, I just quilted it. Now I reckon that if you do the straight line, it gives it that chance to flop over. But you could put whatever quilting you want into there. And then you're going to cut it down to 10 by 20. Okay. So start with, I'm going to cut off one end. Okay. So line it all up. I'm going to trim off my end so that I've got a definite flat end. Now I'll cut it big to begin with because quilting can sometimes suck up the wadding in between, which means that it sort of shrinks a little bit. So it's better to start bigger rather than smaller. So we want it to be 20 long. So there you go. There's that. And then we want this to be 10 wide. So I would fold it the other way. Okay. Now it's quite thick, so I don't know if this is going to work. So we want a nice straight edge. So you line up your lines, your inch lines up, so that you can get your straight edge. And then we're going to go up the 10. Now I'm going to mark this. At home I'd probably freehand cut it. You know, I'd put this there and then just go and hope for the best. I'm a lot of hope for the best type sewer. You know, the button on the end ended up because it didn't work. I just add to things as I'm going along. Right, so ta-da, nice and smart and tidy. So your pockets. Now some of the pockets, the two of the pockets, I want you to fold in your 1/4 inch. Now this would be pocket, this is pocket 4. So you fold in and iron in your 1/4 inch turn. Okay, like that. Now you could double fold it if you wanted to, but you're not really going to see it. It's going to be on the inside. And I've cut my pockets longer so that I can fold them in half rather than cutting 2 pieces, so that you've got your inside as well. And this one is pocket 3, which is going to go on the front. I've also folded in my 1/4 inch, which tidies up your seam. Okay, then your other 2 pockets are your large pockets. So I've got, that's pocket 2, okay, which will fit. See how it fits in there? And this one is pocket 5, which is the one at the back. So you're going to place them like that. This is really quick. I mean, people keep saying, oh, I can't do things like that. This is so easy. You can make up your own measurements. There is no reason why it has to stick to this. Measure your settee. Make it, you know, if you need 23 inches, then make it 23 inches long. You can make your pockets any size. You could make your pockets so that this is repeated on that side. As you go. Right. So you're going to want to put your pocket, your long pocket, on.
What's going on there? It's just turned itself.
It's as wobbly as I am.
It's just turned itself off.
It's gone.
I don't know what's going on. Right, bear with me a second. I'm gonna have to. That's just, I think I've died. I don't know.
Are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on. I don't know why, but I think my thing might have just run out of battery and I don't think I've charged it.
Oh, his toy broke. We don't like toys that break. Okay, so you're going to want to put your pocket 4. You want it so that it goes into that bottom left-hand corner. Then your pocket 3, you're going to put your edged one there because you're going to sew this down now. Now in a minute. Okay, so we're not going to sew them on there. I'm going to do this. Okay, so that's the one pocket. Then this one is going to sit here. So I'm going to tuck that so that my the edges that you've turned under meet and go together. Now on my original one I sewed those two together first, but really you don't need to. Where are you, Granny? Go here. Have you seen our Granny? We love our Granny. This was crocheted for us by a lady called Linda, who comes to our crochet group on a Monday mornings. Not at the moment, of course. So you're going to overlap those and pin those down. As you can see on this side, it comes off a bit. That's okay, you want it to. We're going to pin these down. The ironing's a little bit out. You're going to pin that in place. Okay. Now I've run out of pins. Bear with me. Have a look at my hands work.
Yes, sir.
No, it's a bit short, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to pin these down so they don't move, as it already has. This is all going to be in the seam, so you're not going to it won't show. Pin this down so that it doesn't move, hopefully, and we are going to sew pocket 4, pocket 3 to pocket 2. Okay. As you can see, this is the Viking fabric. I think it's so fun. So we're going to go over here.
While you're sewing, Sarah, should we say hello to everyone?
Oh, yes.
So Dave's watching. He says hi.
Hiya, Dave.
He says hi, Drew, as well.
How's work going?
Suzanne says good afternoon.
Hello.
And David says hello. We got Christine, Sandra. We also got Grace, Sean, Linda Tomlinson. We got Wendy as well. Carrie as well.
That's cool. I would have thought more people would have been out in the sun.
Carrie asked how your lashes are.
Oh, they're growing, darling. Thank you. Carrie bought me one of these serums that goes on your lashes to make them grow fuller. It's one of the things. I've got very short lashes. Trying to make them a bit fuller. That's really sewn bad, but you know that this would be a lot better when you're at home. Okay. So we've sewn those down. All right. So if you were at home, you would make sure that those were all tucked in nice and neat. You could go up and down that a couple of times if you wanted. Okay, the reason that we've got this overlapping is you're going to bring this now to the edge like that. Okay, and you're going to pin that in place and then baste it, which just means sew it within the seam allowance. So probably 1/4 inch would be fine on this. Okay, so I'm going to take that back to the machine and I'm just going to put stitch down there, which holds it in place there. Okay. So have you all been enjoying the sunshine? I got home yesterday from doing my deliveries. I went through the house. I stripped off as I went through the house. I picked up a bottle of beer and I climbed into the hot tub. And I sat there and just relaxed in the sun. It was lush. Proper lush it was. Right, so you've got this loopy bit here. What you want is for the loopy bit to be within your 2 pockets. So it doesn't have to be dead center. You could make it so that you had a small loopy pocket there to put your pens and things in. But we're going to just put a line down, roughly down the center. Okay, so that you've got loopy pockets. So you've got Sarah Jane pockets. So I'm going to go straight through the fox's head. Wolf. It'd be a wolf with a...
It would be a wolf,
Viking
yeah.
wolf. Okay, so let's do my lock stitch. I'm going to go down. Now, if you were doing at home, you might decide to draw yourself a line in so that it goes straight. This might be a bit on the wonk. Okay, so with your pockets now, you've got the loops. We're just going to make a tuck in them, okay? So now I'm going to pin your tuck down. And then at the end of it, you'd be all tuckered out. So we do that. Okay, so you've got, so that it gives them, you've got the a flat bottom then. Right, okay. So you can just do it over the over your tucks. Right, it's just as easy to go all the way down. So you're just doing it within the seam allowance, and it's just so that you're holding it down. Okay, so this now is a good pocket. So if you're making this for a chap for Father's Day, I mean, all this could be done sewn by hand. There's no reason why you have to do it by machine. That now is big enough for you to get a remote control in it. Okay, see, so it's big enough for you to get your remote, because they're wider, aren't they, than a pair of scissors. Okay, so you have your pocket group. So we now are going to take our backing fabric, okay, and we're going to lay our pocket group at the bottom end. You want your pocket to be towards the middle. And you're going to take pocket 5 and put it on the other end. It's slightly wider. That's all right, we'll disappear now. Okay, I have sewn my loop in ready just because it's easier to do it now. If you wanted to hide it, I mean, I've just got it sticking out there. If you wanted to hide it, you could cut this piece in as 2 separate pieces so that you can tuck it in and sew. If you're going to use a flat piece of elastic, this is one of the ones that we had. Remember I was telling you about them on Saturday? Slightly flatter for my wonky ears. So we now have our backing fabric, and we're just going to lay that on top. Now your backing fabric is 20 by 10, so you it's just going to sit on the top. As you can see, this is a bit big, but as long as we stick to the outside of either to the outside of this one, we can trim that off afterwards.
So,
Yes.
Diana says, hi both of you. Like the pink quilt behind you, what pattern is it, please?
This one?
I believe so.
Yeah. This is the square in a square. It's the quilt as you go, square in a square. It's lush, isn't it? And this is the garden party that I was showing you on Saturday. It's done by the same artist that does Guess How Much I Love You, which we also have in stock. So it's a quilt as you go express. So it again, haven't got enough pins. Quilt as you go express. So it's done all in one. So rather than the other quilt as you go where you do them in 6 blocks and then sash them together, this is done as a whole. So if you've got fabrics that you want to showcase, so you want the pictures, you can fussy cut that one in the middle and then build it up around, and you get a good amount of fabric that you can actually see the patterns, so you can use bigger patterns, which is really cool. So we are going to sew all the way around this now. Why won't that work? Oh yeah, that'll do. We're going to sew all around this, but we're going to leave a gap for turning through. Otherwise, it would be completely useless. I'm going to use edge of foot. Okay, because I find it's bigger than a 1/4 inch, so that you know that you're going to get all of it in. So, which I think is about 1/2 inch. Okay, so lock stitch. I've got my stitch up to 3.5. It's good for top stitching, and you go in through quite a few layers of fabric, and your wadding as well at the moment. You could use your walking foot, but again, I don't use the walking foot so that you can see that it can be done without having to spend out if you're not a quilter. So go all the way down to the corner. If I remember, I always do a few stitches so that you go back on yourself. I think it's molting. It gives the corner a little bit more strength if you put a couple of stitches in there. And we're going to keep going all the way around. Is there anything else anybody wants to see? Because this really is not going to take that long. So what's everybody got planned for the bank holiday? I thought I'd have a big party, go to the beach.
So you're not allowed to do any of those things.
But I want to. I want to go and see my grandkids and give them cuddles. Mind you, I'm sure Meg just really wants me to go and take my grandchildren and take them away for a few hours. They were in the swimming pool before 9 o'clock this morning, or a swimming pool, paddling pool. I have the utmost respect for people that are having to deal with kids at this time. I can't imagine what it must be like. And as much as you love your kids, it's always nice to have some time off as well. Okay, we're nearly there. One more corner.
Karen and David says, got a really exciting weekend, moving a ton of gravel.
Ooh, nice. What are you having built? We were lucky. We did a front garden patio, and we got that done just before lockdown, and I love it. So for my birthday, when Meg did come round, we all sat out there, social distancing, but it was nice. We could sit out the front in the sun, and I at least saw them for my birthday. Right, with the corners, we're going to cut the corners off like that. I'm going to trim this. So you could make this for the man in your life, for his remote controls.
Is this for Dave?
If Dave wants it, he can have it. Trouble is, we can't leave our remote controls out because our dog eats them, which Sarah's boys will contest to, because they've had to buy new remotes, because when we've been on holiday and they've looked after our dogs, they've come home having not put the remotes back in the drawer. We had to do our drawers so that Dave had to drill a hole in the top so that we can put a rod through, because the one dog can open the drawers. I mean, he's opened IKEA drawers to take my sewing reels out. It's unbelievable. You know, these dogs, they have no opposable thumbs, and yet he can still open a drawer. Right, I haven't got my proddy stick, so I'm going to gently shove those out. Yeah, you could do that. You don't need to put a pocket on the back. You could just make it long enough to go under a mattress, and you could have it hanging out under the mattress and down, and have it by your bed for the kids, or somebody who's in bed needing the remote controls. You could do it in the car. You could do your pad instead of the back pocket. If you filled that with your sand or whatever in there and actually top stitched it down, put the bag in there and top stitch that down, that could go through the headrest on your car, so that it would hang down like that. So there we have an almost finished one. We're going to do the roll and press around, and then you would take it to the ironing board. I did bring my little iron and my ironing mat, but I forgot to put it all ready for you. So you go all the way round, and when you get to this bit here, you're going to make sure that your seam allowance is turned under. So you would iron that into submission, like that. Turn it over. Okay, get in there. Okay, and then you would top stitch all the way round, which I'm not going to do because you don't need me to watch me sew it again. And it just neatens off those edges. Okay, and there you have your finished item. Now, I found a button in our vintage, as in people have dropped them off, and I think it's a Roman. You see that? I think it's a Roman. So they default the Romans, so I thought that was alright. It can go in there. So you would just find out where your button would go, and you'd sew that on. the little bag that I had, I cut that out at 8 by 4, but again you could make it longer. You could, before you sew it together, if you put a piece of Velcro on it and a piece of Velcro there, you could stick it on when you needed to. And that's it. Any questions?
No.
No? Have I lost everybody? We all gone for
So,
lunch?
Marilyn says looks fab Father's Day present. Caroline says just putting drainage in at the bottom of the garden with the gravel.
Oh, with the gravel, yeah.
But yeah, it's better.
So, obviously, self-explanatory. I look forward to them all turning up. We could do a little competition. How about a reel of variegated Gutermann thread of the colour of your choice that we have in the shop for all the finished ones, not for all of them. If you put them all on, I'll start a thread for it, and if you put finished ones in there, then we can choose one like Sarah does with her thing.
A challenge post.
Not the her channel.
No, challenge.
Yeah, the challenge.
Challenge
Post.
Challenge post.
Challenge post. I see. I hear Hochanda in my sleep now. So yeah. So if you do one, we'll put it on a challenge post, and we'll pick a winner, and you can win a variegated thread, which would be beautiful for top stitching. So that's me done. It's a quick one. I'm off to cut fabric now, ready for kits to go on Hochanda, because Sarah's back on Hochanda on the 28th, which is a week tomorrow. I'll see you soon.